Good evening. Bad evening, probably. You're listening to the PNE flagship. Full time at the Riverside. Middlesbrough 4, Preston North End 0. Darren, you had a massive rant on the last flagship that we did. Did that cheer you up today, mate?
No. No.
Not good, was it?
No, not at all. No.
Critch, how are you feeling after that?
Well,
Is the automatic still
yeah, I
alive?
was just about to say, I'm just a bit curious how the automatic promotion chase is going, Darren.
You already know. that. We already spoke about that. We don't need to dwell on that, do we now, Critch?
Yeah, but on today's show, we're going to run through the game. We're going to talk about all aspects, who was at fault for it. We've got a few comments from the fans. We're going to talk about the signings or the lack of signings. Can we somehow come up with a man of the match from that? Ipswich predictions, news on a potential interested party in buying North End. Please come and take us off the Hemmings in his hands. I can't take this any longer. And we've also got a question from Jason, which we'll discuss at the end. Hopefully doesn't get us cancelled. But where were we? Let's start. We'll start with you, Darren. A simple question. What on earth was that we watched this lunchtime?
I don't even think we can call that actually football as well. Looking at the way we played today, I don't know what they've done since the whole game in training to try and change things around or even mitigate conceding silly goals like we did. Obviously, against Hull, the defending was woeful. I can't even describe. I don't think there is a word for how bad the defending was today. Honestly, and that's no exaggeration. The defending was awful, and that's putting it nicely. It's head scratching, isn't it? That now that it's, so many goals conceded in such a short span of time as well for the games that have been obviously close together. It was just awful, wasn't it? It's awful.
Yeah, terrible. Are we putting the blame on individuals defensively, or is it just as a collective, do we think?
Personally, for me, I don't know what Critch thinks, but I think that every single person at the club is to blame for this. I think obviously the players, they go out and they play the football. It's down to them on the pitch. The management, the tactics, it's down for them to change things during training and obviously during the game by bringing in players and subbing players off and changing the game when we're like 1, maybe 2-0 down. And also the owners as well for obviously, which we'll come on to, about not finding players to come in. Obviously, in this transfer window, or the lack of players, we've released players and we've got 0 in.
Yeah, what we're going to do probably, we're going to first half of the show touch on the game, because what I don't want to happen, which I've seen a lot of the feedback, is the board, the lack of transfers. And what I don't want to do is, I'm sorry, but we've just had our asses handed to us by a team we went toe-to-toe to at the start of the season, probably with a better team. Okay, we didn't have Osmajic in that game. Harrison Armstrong was on the bench. So I've seen a lot of conversation of, the squad aren't good enough to compete. Utter nonsense. We've sat and watched this team go to places like Southampton, play them off the pitch. We've seen this team can compete. So we're going to talk about that is a big issue, the lack of investment. But for this first half, we're going to talk about the team. And Critch, do you think something's happened? There has to be a reason. How this team does not look like even the same team that played at Bristol. But we said for a while the performances haven't been good. But as of late, they've really not been good.
And you've just hit the nail on the head there with what you just said. If you had to look over the past, 10, 15 games, how many games could you actually say we've looked good? There's times when we've got an all right result, but it's been against the run of play. We've just not looked like we were early season, and especially the last couple of games, I don't know. They look like they've down tools. There's no heart. There's no energy. There's nothing. There's not one player that is playing well.
Who?
No, I said there's not even one.
All right, I thought you said there's one. I was going to say, we're clutching at straws here. I thought the person who had the best game today was Everson. He was my man of the match.
Yeah, he probably was. Probably the one that did make a mistake.
Just like you said, Dan, sorry if I can just come in there as well. To the back of Critch. You mentioned obviously in the previous fixture against Middlesbrough at home, we were out. Osmaich was on the bench, and Harrison Armstrong was also on the bench as well. Sorry, we were without Osmaich, and Harrison Armstrong was on the bench. The team today is exactly the same team. All players that played in that home game against Middlesbrough. You know, Dobbin, Divines, your Smalls. Obviously, with the loss of Everson in goal. Yes, we all know that he's obviously injured. But what has happened to this team that was actually chasing for, the top end of that table, and they were at that stage. It's only in the past 4 or 5 games that we've slipped off, but it's the same team. So, like you say, something's happened, something has been said, or something has changed within the camp. What that is, we don't know. It could be multiple factors, but honestly, it's exactly the same team. So you can't say it's down to we're losing players. We're not. It's pretty much the same 11, bar 2 players.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, off the top of my head, the midfield today, what was it? Whiteman, McCann, Devine, you could say Dobbins. Just to say they're the 4 in the middle. I know Devine sort of plays more forward role, but I'm pretty ssure that would have been a very similar lineup to the one that did play against. Let's have a look at the team now. So we've got it. So Everson in goal. Obviously, there was no Everson. Now, we'll touch. Andrew Hughes is a massive miss in that defence. I think that's blatantly obvious. I think the first thing that I'm doing on Monday morning is giving Andrew Hughes an extra year to his contract. But you look at the team. So the team against Middlesbrough, okay, forget Hughes. Story, Gibson, yep. Okay, Valentin, yep. Devine, Whiteman, McCann, Dobbin, Jebison. So it's the same set of players that played that game. And they just look a shell of the former selves. And I get during a season, yeah, you can have dips. Your confidence can go when it's the manager's job to sort that out. But Divine, Dobbin had one little bit of a run, but there was just nothing. It was worrying. It was worrying today, especially with Ipswich next Saturday as well. But I'm just going to read a tweet out and then see what you two think of this. So I was saying this in the group that one of the main concerns is Heckingbottom last season. Obviously, it's a much better set of players that we've got to work with this season. But once we lost 3 or 4 in a row, we've now lost 4 in a row. He struggled to sort of turn that ship round at the end of last season. His form isn't really that streak, so you do worry about that. When we had a tweet from Woodson, Hecky giving off those disinterested vibes from the end of last season, and so to the players. He needs to pick these lot up and do his job better. Not been at it for months now. Shocking. Everson Armstrong have been covering up the stinky team we actually are. Critch, what would you think to some of those comments?
He wouldn't be far wrong, really, would he? We have had certain individuals playing amazing and carrying the team. There's not a lot to really say. Yeah, I reckon he's got a good point there.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Darren, we've been talking and we've had a lot of Heckingbottom.
It's just you want to try and build players up. You want to keep them motivated. You're not going to motivate them by slating them. Which don't get me wrong, they were poor today, but he needs to build them up somehow, and he needs to get them motivated. That's down to him and his coaching staff. He needs to get them firing and hungry for this.
Yeah, because the excuses last season were the team's crap, which it was. I know it did finish 10th the season before. To me,
and they were leaving. So, yeah, I said that at the end of last season, and I still agree with that.
I think that's a lot of bollocks. I can't lie, because to me, if you're the players that are
if you're leaving, you're down.
Yeah, right. So you're going on a free transfer. You've got loads of scouts knowing that you're out of contract. Okay, and Bristol City scouts for Reece, Liverpool scouts, whoever was watching Woodman. Yeah, you think that they're thinking, I can down tools now. No, they're gonna. If anything, they should be trying harder to secure a new contract with a fresh team in the summer. So I think that whole down tools, in fact, we'll agree to disagree.
I don't know. For me, it's someone's always going to pick you up.
But I tell you what, Mark Gay's done all right for Crystal Palace this season. He's just played himself into a move for Man City. He's on the TV. That's $300,000 a week, by the way. But Darren, what do you think? So we said the team was crap last season compared to the team that we've got this season. There's no real excuses. As you said, Critch, it's his team. He's had a pre-season.
No excuses.
So, like you said, Dan, it's just, we mentioned, obviously, people saying, obviously, in the forums on Facebook and give him a pre-season. Let's see what he can do with his team. And he's brought these players in that obviously he wanted. He looks at the players, the loan players, the players that we've got in actually contracted to us as well. And we've gone, right, okay, we've made 11 signings here. We've got some decent coverage in every area. Let's go and make a go of it this season. And you know what? For me being one, I was absolutely so impressed with how we started this season. With life under Heckini, brand new, let's just say a clean slate from what happened last season. But listening to his press conferences now, especially the one after the game, like that tweet said, he sounds so disinterested in football itself as a whole. Never mind North End or even management. It's just like, oh yeah, well, it was some silly goals to concede. Silly goals to concede. I mean, Paul, you come on, you're the manager. You can change all this. You know what I mean? What you're doing in training? What is your team doing in training? It's mind-boggling to say that, come out as a manager and going, oh, well, we're conceding silly goals. Well, stop conceding silly goals then. There's things to mitigate them risks. Go out, get some players in. Go out, if your defence is leaking, go and find a defender. If you want some more creativity, go and find another midfielder. If you're lacking in goals, go and find a striker. Even if it's a loan, you're mitigating the risks from happening, and you could want to improve your team. It's just not cutting it by saying that, like, oh yeah, well, things are just disappointing now. And we'll come on to budget and stuff at the moment, but it's the same thing every season. Manager after manager, it's like rinse and repeat. Every single person we get in, and we get our hopes built up. And then towards middle of the season, it's just like, oh, well, we tried. We got to at least, fourth in the table. We should count ourselves lucky.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, I know you weren't saying that it was, to me, that's not Heckingbottom's fault. He can't, I'm sure he'd love to bring in another defender. I'm sure he'd love to bring in a striker.
I'm sure he would.
That's the tight ass owners that were supposed to be happy that keep us going's fault. But I think you start with the basics, don't you? I think I thought it was pretty obvious that three at the back wasn't working after the first 20 minutes. You could just see Middlesbrough were going to get in time and time again. We eventually, we actually went to a four at the back through being forced to, and we looked more solid. But obviously, the argument to that is against Hull. We didn't. But what I would say, so we've seen Walton, who's clearly nervous. He's rolling the ball out, playing out from the back. Clearly, that instruction is coming from the coaches to play the ball out from the back. And I'm sure Heckingbottom would say, well, I can't control his decisions in terms of there's times to do it and times to not. But to me, there was points in that game where it was right. The amount of times I saw Gibson messing about on the ball, and I was like, why am I watching Gibson? And then Gibson would pass it to Lewis, who was just in an awful position to receive the ball, and you put him under pressure, and then Middlesbrough get the ball back. You're going to struggle to have, as a team like Preston, you're going to struggle to have that much possession against Middlesbrough anyway. So when you get the ball, you can't be giving it away.
Yeah, but also, if just to come in on that as well, but if you've got a player that, like Walton, maybe if he's not confident with the ball at his feet and playing out from the back, surely for the time that Everson's out, you've got to change your tactics, because them things are going to happen. He's going to roll the ball out. He's going to kick it if he's not confident with it, and then make a mistake and then lead into a goal. You've got to change the tactics from the players that you've got. If you've got your goalkeeper, he's your second choice goalkeeper, and I don't want to slate him because I really don't like. He's come in to do the best job as he possibly can do, and until Everson's obviously fit and injured fit and then ready to come back in the team on number one. But you've got to say right, he's not good at playing out from the back. We could concede here. Let's change it. You're going to have to kick it out from goal kicks. And we just don't do that. We're just playing like we were playing if we had Everson in goal and other players back readily and fit available. It's just, for me, it's just very simple things that we're just overlooking as well, tactically as well. And, it's, but what do I know?
Thierry Small. So my first thing when I looked at that team today was Jamal Lewis. Look, he's been steady. He's okay. But when we were doing so well at the start of the season, Thierry Small, I know on the right, but he was playing left wing back. If you remember at the start of the season, he was playing left wing back. And that was where we was playing probably our best. And I know he's not been great in recent weeks, but to me, I think you've got him sat on the bench. Jamal Lewis, for me, has been brought in as third choice left wing back. I know Small's right wing back, but I'd sooner see Small starting ahead of Jamal Lewis, because Jamal Lewis, right, has been brought in because he's better defensively. but he doesn't offer what Small does going forward. And he was awful defensively himself today. Critch, do you want to see Thierry Small start? Because we all liked him at the start of the season.
Yeah, it's just, I think the problem was teams sussed us out, didn't they, with Small? I think they were like, they knew they could catch us out. I mean, he's fantastic going forward. We all know that. But teams were figuring out they could get him behind us when he was playing. I think that was one of the issues. But for me, I'd be playing Vukovic every time. But
He was back today, weren't he, on the bench?
yeah, for me, he's first choice every time. And I'd like to see us play our best team instead of rotating all the time as well. I'd just have our best team playing,
Yeah,
not keep
definitely.
rotating, keep swapping, because it seems like we do that a lot.
I would argue, obviously, we know that Peter Ridsdale wants a manager that plays 3-5-2. That's why we get Low. That's why we get Heckingbottom. It's not working. So you look at that team, we're saying Thierry Small, we need to get him on the pitch. He's a key asset, okay? I know he's out of form. We say this, he can't defend, but he can attack, right? You're talking about, why can't we play Vukovic at left back, Paul at right back, whichever combinations of the two centre-backs? I'd probably go off here. And Gibson, play a back four, midfield. Get Small on the wings. I was reading what one of the Hull fans put the other night, okay? And what they said was, and the same with, was it Derby last week? They said, whichever game it was, I think it was Hull, I was relieved to see Small get subbed. Now, it doesn't work for him every time he goes forward. It doesn't for any winger. That's why you're playing at the Championship. I know it's a bad comparison. Jeremy Doku for Man City, guess what? Every time he gets the ball that runs at someone, it doesn't always work out. Every time he crosses the ball, it's not always perfect. Good wingers mess up once, but they go again and again and again. And for me, I just think Thierry Small has to be on that pitch. But, okay, we'll see. You were a big fan, Darren, start of the season, Thierry Small. 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I do. I love Thierry Small. And I don't know what is going on, just not with him, but with the team as a whole. Like you said before, I think, I don't know whether it was Critch or yourself, Dan, but we look like a shell of our former self. And it's just so, like heartbreaking to see where we're going now with, like, just the team performances. And we're almost slowly creeping in. Like, it's almost like a carbon copy of towards the end of last season. The performances, one goal goes in and we let our heads down. That wasn't like us at the first half of the season before Christmas. If we got a goal and then a goal went in, we went out and we kept on attacking. And we made sure that we got the equalising goal to come back. And yeah, do you know what? We're going to go out and win the game. Now it's just one goes in, the floodgates open.
Yeah, I know, which is not like us. I'm pretty sure they'll be Heckingbottom's two biggest defeats as manager. The whole game and this game. I can't think of. It's probably one that was last season, but
I think it was this
I
one,
never felt we got battered many times last season, even when we was sinking towards 20th. But look, we sit 9th in the league table, and we'll. Is there anything else we want to say about the game? Is there any Walton? Obviously, we spoke about. We need Everson back.
Yeah, just one thing for me. I think Everson saves most of them shots today. Most of them goals. He gets, maybe apart from like the one where the defender gave it away. But I think the others, he saves them. He saves that one from like Brown, and he'd be on top of all of them. And that's a big difference straight away.
Mm-hmm. Would you say Everson maybe saved us quite a lot? Maybe.
Yes, he has. Well, we know he has. We know that.
If Woodman's in there saying, would we even have found ourselves in that top 6? And now he's gone out of the team. But look, anything else we need to say on the game? I don't really think there's too much that we need to. I think, look, we've said our thoughts on the team.
One thing. Is it the worst game of the season so far? Would you say?
I don't even think that's a discussion, is it?
To me, it feels like the lowest point and the worst performance for me.
I'd say the lowest point was probably when, do you know what, it's just been a bad week, hasn't it? But look, we who's man of the match, Critch?
No one. I refuse to give it.
Yeah, refuse to give it. I give it Smith. Right. Let's look. So George Hodgson put a tweet out Would love to offer a glimmer of hope after a game like that, but Paul Heckingbottom doesn't think anything is close transfer-wise, and still no time frame for Everson's injury. Look, now that is a nightmare, Everson's injury. We spoke about that, but what I want to say, so there's still no time frame. January the 4th, okay? Feels like years ago. We were sat 4th in the league, okay? 4th in the league. What an opportunity. No league game for 2 weeks. So what do? Just sit on your hands and wait for it to go wrong? Or do you think if you're the owner of this club, we've got a real good chance this season? If I just put a little bit in, a few little positions, we could really kick on. I think it's absolutely criminal that we sit here 20 days later after we were in 4th place. No new signings. Armstrong got recalled, which we cut out. We've sold 2 players. We're sat here Saturday, the 24th of January, not one signing brought in. If we were sat in 18th and they were worried that their asset might drop out of the Championship, they'd be bringing players in. We did it that season. I know different ownership. When we brought, was it Chaplow in January? They panicked and brought players in because they were going to go down. Last January, Gibson, Meg Homer, I'm sure there was someone else came in. They'd be panicking, but it's like, it's all right. We're not going down. Let's leave them to it. I think it's an absolute disgrace. And you know what? I can tell that you're like this, Darren. For North End fans, 2,000 North End fans went to the Riverside today for a 12:30 kickoff that's live on TV. That is excellent support. Okay. And I'm sat thinking, next season, what is the motivation? It's been a decade of Groundhog Day. What's the motivation? They're just happy for us to just flounder. And I know they're trying to sell the club, which we'll get into. Convenient timing for that article to come out, by the way. But, yeah, I don't know. Darren, what are they doing, the board?
No, and to be honest, I think I've ranted so much online. I'm probably the most hated, Preston North End supporter on Facebook forums now. But really, I could not care because people just don't seem to see it. They're too busy loving this brilliant board that we have because we know at least we're in the Championship and at least we always we pump £100 million in here and we plug the gap here and we plug the gap there. Every single team in the Championship puts that amount of money in, even more in every season, and they manage to get higher than we do. We've had Bolton go to the Premier League, Wigan in the Premier League, Blackpool in the Premier League, and we've had other people in the Premier League that have gone on before us. Bournemouth, look at them in the Championship. Luton, for example, look at them. Ambition, owners with ambition, going up to the Premiership. Yes, look at where they are now. Yeah, League One, right? But look at them though. Their fans have been there and then been in the Premiership and had their memories of actually being in the Premiership. And I don't want to bring it up, but even Blackpool, they've got memories of their time beating Liverpool.
It's double dipped.
Well. Yeah, I have double dipped because I'm pissed off now. I really am. Because they've got memories of beating Liverpool, that's going to probably last them for a lifetime. There's some of our supporters that were just born before we got relegated from when we were in there 60 odd years ago in the top flight. They're probably never going to see this team, and it's sad to see this team in the Premiership in top flight because they'll probably end up. I know it's really harsh to say, they'll probably die before Preston ever do something. You know what I mean? I probably, I'm 31 now. I probably will never see it. I hope I do. But the way this is going, I'm probably never going to see my team in the Premiership, because I can't see another 40, 50 plus years of Preston North End actually trying under this ownership. It's gone too far now and it's stagnant. Every single season's the same. And I get people saying, well, you put your money in. These are the excuses all the time. You put your money in. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. 1 second when I'll just get my wallet out and get that £100 million, out and just buy a player for North End. Give your head a wobble. And saying that, oh, yes, well, the club has to do this and they keep the club afloat. What would you rather have, a pitch or players? Well, sell the club then. If you can't financially fund a club with ambition, then your time in football's done. Go and find somebody who wants to actually own a football club and said, you know what? Preston North End, a rich history of actually being the founder members of the Football League, the winners of the first Football League, the winners of the league and the FA Cup double, the original Invincibles. Wow, what a thing I could buy into. I could pump some money into that, and then we could do something with this football club. Because our fans, yeah, they are loyal. We have a really loyal fan base, right? And I don't blame them fans from walking away from 2-0 down, 3-0 down at Middlesbrough. I don't blame them. And you know what? Look at City the other day. Absolutely got battered in the Champions League. Reimbursed every single fan that flew out there. Every single fan. Yeah, okay, they've got the money to do that. And that is a bit of a drastic thing. But we'll never, ever get to that point where our board will go, do you know what? For your loyal support, we're going to reimburse every single fan. No, because they're so stuck up their own arse. I'm sorry I've said that, right? But, they're stuck up their own arse because they don't want to spend a single penny. Honestly, they're tighter than the Yorkshireman's wallet. And it's just, honestly, it gets me so annoyed. It really does. Every single season's the same. And, I don't care if I get so much flack for saying this, but they just need to go. They need to sell up. Honestly, I've had enough of the board, the way the club's run, and Peter Ridsdale always coming out and defending the board, saying, oh, well, they always put money into the club, what the people don't see. We're seeing a lot at the moment. We're seeing abysmal performances on the football pitch and nothing doing in the transfer windows. You've had, like Dan said, you had 2 weeks to do something in. 2 weeks. And now we've got like a week and a bit left, if that. Honestly, it's mind-boggling. This football club, honestly, I swear to God, this is like AI, this football club who owns it. Or it's like a non-playable character in the game that you can't do anything with. I really do fear for what the next 5-10 years this football club looks like. Kids are not going to want to go and watch Preston North End. What would you rather do if you had a ticket in front of you, Preston North End or, let's say, United or City? The kid's going to go and watch Manchester United with his friends who supports United at school. What kids running around? Yeah, exactly. What kids running around with a Preston top on, with Whiteman on the back? What kids doing that? No one. No one. Instead of running around with like Bruno Fernandes or Haaland t-shirts on, they need to just look at the structure of the football club and the way that things are working. It's just, honestly, I don't have any more words. I really don't.
Well, you've guaranteed that Oliver's getting a North End shirt with Whiteman on the back for Christmas next year, so at least there's that. But I was going to transition into Championship Club. This is from Sky News. Championship Club, Preston North End hold talks with Chelsea suitor Amir Zidane, a US-born Saudi businessman who has interacted in sectors including energy and horse racing. Another one from horse racing. Let's hope this one's not as tight as the other lot. Has held talks about an investment in one of the Football League's founding members, and that was released by Sky News 15 minutes after the full-time whistle at the Riverside. Not much we can say on it. I'd take anything at this point. I'd take you, Critch, if you were a rich Saudi businessman. But
probably do better than what we've got.
With that tan, you have a look at one. But right, look, I had a few points more to like slag him off for not spending, but I think you touched on it all there, Darren.
We can go again.
Another thing, go again if you want. But another thing, this just seems negligent, right? Osmajic obviously is out. Okay. Why did we let Will Keane go? We're waiting on. There's just an example of a properly ran club. We're waiting on Everton to bring in midfielders before they're willing to let us have Harrison Armstrong. Okay. However, Preston, what we should have done, we should have not let Will Keane go before we bring in a striker, because that's just common sense. So why on earth have we let Will Keane go? And I just assumed when he went, that must mean we're bringing in a striker. We're sat here a week and a half later with Smith coming on as sub.
Good old Smudger.
Let Critch go.
I know. Smudger and Jebel taking us up. But
we are weak up front. We're just...
Critch, you were on that episode. What did you think of Osmajic the other night? Have you forgiven him?
I've been winding the Blackpool fans up saying, "Oh yeah, what a great guy he is," but oh man, what do we do with him? I don't know.
He'll be at White Collar Boxing on March the 21st.
And then he's got that 30% sell-on fee as well, hasn't he?
Oh, I forgot about that.
So even if you sold him, we're going to have to sell him cheap now because he's a liability. And then he's got that 30% sell-on fee. So we're still going to take a massive hit on that now.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Sorry, my daughter's rang me. Amelia, I'll ring you back. God bless her. She'd be like, what time are you coming back up? I'll be like, whatever time Bournemouth Liverpool finishes. Right. Do we have anything else to say? Because you know what? Can we just say this? You've got a week and a half left. Okay. I know we've criticised Eckingbottom for the last month. He's done well to get us where we are. Okay. Just go and back him. We probably won't be. Although, to be fair, we're 9th now. So I'd expect us to be 9th at some point in the next few years. 2 weeks ago, this was one of the best chances we could ever wish for. And you've almost blown it because it's all well and good. You could bring in a few players in a week's time. We could be 13th, 12th by the end of next weekend's game.
Just nipping on to what you've said about just quickly about the owners and about this, about this new proposed talks they've been having with these new owners. That's probably what they've been doing all this transfer window. Is talking to somebody and not bothering about players, not bothering about that. They're more bothered about trying to sell the club than getting players in. And what the issue is this season, we've been the closest we've ever been to actually achieving something great and actually getting out of this league once and for good. But instead, you know what? Yeah, I do want the owners to, and I'm not trying to contradict myself here. I do want them to sell. I do want them to get new owners in. But surely the priority is to back Paul Heckingbottom, because with the right backing and the right player he wants, he can make a go of it. And if he doesn't, we could say, right, well, we backed you and you didn't get there. So what's the next situation after this? What's the next step after that? But no, you know what I mean? It's just the priorities of the club just need to look at themselves. Honestly, I just don't know,
Darren, what happened in the summer? Where we bid 2 million for Callum Langer in the summer. We bid. Yeah. Who else did we bid for? We were told we bid for this money. We never spent. We never spent this money. Guy from Cardiff, right? No, but what I'm saying is, you had that 2 million or whatever that you were going to spend. Common sense. When you at the end of November, when we're sat in a great position, maybe think, I know. Let's get the wheels in motion. Let's prepare. We brought in Lewis Gibson at the start of January last year because they were worried we might go down. But now it's just negligence. What did we deserve as fans to be? I know people are, the great owners. I'd sooner be in League Two going to great away days than stuck going to Hull and Middlesbrough every week for the next 50 years.
Do you know what? When this football club was founded and when obviously people were paying to watch obviously that Invincibles era, they probably thought, wow, what great things this football club is going to achieve in like maybe 100 years' time. Where would they be? They're probably known around the world. Okay, no.
Little did they know they'd have some knobhead with a man bun whinging on a podcast about him.
Honestly, I'm just, done.
I know we're all a bit down. I don't know, we're done now. We don't have to speak about that anymore. Do you know what I mean? North End, sort yourselves out. Predictions for Ipswich to lift the spirits.
Start
with you. First. Yeah, go on, Critch.
I'm going for 3-0 Ipswich.
Darren?
I think we're going to get absolutely battered with this current squad we've got. With knowing no players coming in as well, I think it's going to be at least. I'm going to go again. I'm going to go 4 maybe. I'm going to go 5-0. I'm going to go 5-0 Ipswich.
Ipswich 0, Preston 1. We're going to go there and absolutely park that bus, counter-attack, Jebbo, smudger assist.
Oh, God.
You'll have Neil rubbing it into his son after the game. I know it's a big game for Neil, so yeah, there you go. Anyway, we'll talk about all these. Why are we even surprised, really? Look at Alex Neil. He had us in positions like this, and they didn't back him either. So I don't know why we're surprised. I know. Do you not remember that year when we had Ryan Lowe? They didn't even give him a penny to spend at the start of the season.
Here we go. I knew that would come up.
Yeah, Critch was excited to come on and talk about Doncaster beating Wigan 3-0, weren't you?
What score did that finish up at?
3-3.
He got lucky.
He got lucky. What, a bit like he did the other week?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What a great away day that would have been. Actually, Arsenal away with the way we're playing now. Maybe we had a lucky escape. But look, be nice in the comments. Do you know what I mean? Be nice. We're doing this for your entertainment. Yeah, be nice. Be nice. We're all North End fans. We all disagree with each other, but it's just football. It's not the end of the world. Hello, it looked like it from some of our comments tonight.
End of the world.
Critch, Thai or Filipino?
Thai.
Thai?
Tight lady. Before anything else is said.
That's
Oh,
getting
I thought
clipped.
we were talking about takeaways. Me, I was
Yeah.
going to say English breakfast. I don't know what you're on about. You.
Oh,
What's wrong with you?
Oh yeah, yeah. Because Jason would ask that. That's the type of thing you'd ask. What takeaway do you prefer? Yeah.
Oh, Indian. Right. Let's wrap up. Let's wrap up. We will. I don't think I'll be doing a flagship next week after the game because the Royal Rumble starts at 7:00. So, yeah. What did you do that for? You think Roman Reigns is winning, Darren?
well, he will do anyway, won't he?
Is that why he was doing it?
Well, no, but
Ah.
I can do if you want to.
I've got a funny feeling Gunther might do it. But Critch is like, what the hell are these two
Yeah, I'm
going on
literally
about?
like, what on earth are you talking about?
Right. Look, let's wrap it up. Critch, when you enter in the Love Island villa.
Yeah, I think a bit too old for that one.
You're never too old.
Never too old. Anyway, right, let's get out of here. Thanks everyone for listening. Anything you want to say? I tell you what, if you want to put anything in the comments, we'll read it out on next week's episode, no matter what it is.
Shout out. Can you remember who it was, Dan?
I don't have a clue what shout out you're on about. You were still.
It was like, Scarlett or someone. I can't think. They were big fans. I can't remember.
Oh, you mean the shout out that we read out on the Bristol City podcast?
Right. No, well, I didn't hear it. I wasn't there.
Do you listen to us? Do you not listen to the podcast?
He only listens when he's on.
He listens
I
to Critch.
I just don't want to embarrass myself. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't just say that.
Yeah, he's sending us clips of the Seasiders podcast.
Yeah, it's because theirs is crap compared to ours. They've no je ne sais quoi. They've no personality. They're just like grumpy old men that are like,
Well, there you go. I suppose that's what it'll do to you if you're playing at home to Northampton. It could be worse.
Could be worse. You could lose 4-0.
Yeah, sad that.
I'm going to get
Anyway,
bloody hammered now. They're going to bloody hammer me again. I've already got hammered. Bloody photoshopped with tigers eating me and stuff like that.
What's today's one then?
They haven't seen one yet, so I've no doubt there'll be like, I've seen a few 4 comments. They'll no doubt they'll have me like playing golf or something, like swinging and shouting 4.
if we were in League One and Blackpool were in the Championship, I wouldn't be sat here laughing at Blackpool. I'd think I'll just stay quiet until we get back. But hey, look, let's wrap up. I want to go and watch Bournemouth beat Liverpool. So, look, thanks for listening, everyone. Leave your comments below. Be nice. And we'll be back next week with plenty of signings, new Saudi owners, and we'll just beat Ipswich.
Wow.
1-0.
Oh, yeah.